My name is Aster. I'm sure this title isn't very creative, but I had to do something. While looking for new video topics, my friend Kalaxon from Kalaxon Cares Too Much suggested that I look at Bad Cinderella. And boy. Remember that one teacher who kept talking about how old Disney movies were sexist because the princess always ended up with a man? Imagine if that teacher had a lot of money and also a contract with the West End. That's how we got Bad Cinderella. The third song on the track listing is the titular one. To put it simply, it's like if Belle was written by the most insufferable video essayist you've ever seen. You'll see what I mean. We start running into problems in the first stanza.
Bad Cinderella, Cinderella is the catty name that they call me.
This actually isn't terrible on its own. The instrumentals have a good vibe to them, they got a nice bass line, and the hard K sounds of catty and call work well to punctuate the rhythm. The catty name that they call me. There are inevitably going to be some positives to the song. I mean, this is David Zappel. Yes, that David Zappel, the one who did the lyrics for Hercules. He's a great lyricist, but a great lyricist can only do so much to save a bad concept or a bad partnership. And anyway, you're here to listen to me tear into something, so let's get into that.
Sad Cinderella, she's a loner, she's a loon, a loser, that's all me.
First major problem is the rhyme of call me and all me. Aloud, there's nothing that sounds off, but on paper and in context, it's not a correct use of emphasis. In conversation, if you use the phrase call me, the emphasis is on the word call. Call me. However, in a regular sentence, the phrase all me usually emphasizes me, like, it's all me. When the emphases are mismatched, it doesn't sound right in our heads, and when we hear it aloud, it distracts us. The second major problem is that this doesn't make grammatical sense. She's a loser, that's all me. Since the subject of the sentence is she, wouldn't the proper ending be that's all her? Another way you can read it is that it's her sarcastically agreeing, but then it feels like a word is missing. If I were to write this normally, I'd probably say she's a loser, a loon, yes, that's all me, or more correctly, yes, those are all me, or I'm all those things, and then rearrange it so it works in a song. And I know some of you are going to comment something like, you just want to be a hater, you're so nitpicky. Well, it's about to get even worse. One last thing about this stanza. She's a loner, she's a loon, a loser. Zappel is trying for a strong alliteration, and he does achieve that, but at a cost. Remember how I said those hard K sounds of the stanza's second line worked well to punctuate the rhythm? Well, you can't really do that with the L sound. It's more of a glide, so it's hard to use for sharp notes. Between the piano and the bass going on in the background, sharp is what's needed here. The L sounds do a disservice to the instrumental. It's not that it sounds bad, it's just that it could sound a lot better, and I'd expect that from an ultra-seasoned professional.
From the gutter, unpleasant peasant, no one a nutter, unwelcome present.
Zappel seems to really be struggling with grammar in this song. The third line threw me off because I thought no one was the starting subject of a new sentence. Instead, it's another name Cinderella has been called. Usually, though, we would say someone is a no one, or more naturally, a nobody. The reason I notice this is because the word a does precede the next nickname of nutter, no one a nutter. This could have been fixed by changing it to nobody nutter, and then we have the phrase unwelcome present, which I don't think anyone has ever said in real life.
Cruel taunts you mutter, every insult that you utter makes me stir.
I've mentioned before that I don't like redundancy in lyrics. Muttering taunts and uttering insults are effectively the same thing. Zappel really wanted that extra rhyme though, but extra rhymes aren't always worth it. They could come off as forced. Also, my ear expected more lines before the end of the stanza, like maybe it's just me. I think it's because the rhyme is A, B, A, B, A, and my ear associates that A rhyme with something starting. It's possible that a straightforward A, B, A, B, A, B with the peasant rhyme before the final line would be more satisfying. He could have also done A, B, A, B, C, C to properly separate the two sections of the pre-chorus. Okay, first of all, in the chorus, terrible tone switch. The build-up to this sounds very dark, which is fine, but the chorus is very bright and almost, I don't know, church rock-like. Zappel has now used the word gutter twice in two stanzas. Also, from that first couplet I just played, you'd think shock me would be rhymed with something. Like, I don't know about you, but that's just naturally what my ear expects. Well, I was wrong to expect that because the rhyme scheme is ABC, AB, D, D. It's missing the pair for C. Maybe this was intentional though, because the first D line is, and I hope I have upset you. You can use an unusual rhyme scheme to trip people up for thematic purposes. Still, A, B, C, A, B, C, C would have sounded nicer. So even ignoring that, I still don't like this particular line. This is kind of our beginning of the end moment. Hair and clothes are superficial things. They're being brought up because if you don't know, Bad Cinderella is very much a not like other girls story. The next line, as I mentioned earlier, is, "And I hope I have upset you."
And I hope I have upset you.
Cinderella wants people to hate her because she is too good for them. The reason why we being people over the age of 14, collectively find this attitude abrasive is because most people want to be liked. Not for superficial reasons, but because the vast majority of humans need social interaction and value kindness. We don't like people who intentionally seek to be disliked. On to verse 2.
Don't point your finger. Don't you judge me when you live in plexiglass houses.
So I understand that Chappelle is trying to play on the phrase "people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones," meaning people shouldn't be hypocritical, but adding plexiglass for the sake of syllable count kind of ruins the metaphor because plexiglass is known for being incredibly impact resistant. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones because glass breaks on impact, like that's how the metaphor works. Plexiglass does not do that. I know it's meant to reference how plexiglass is a plastic imitation of real glass, but combined with the usual metaphor, it doesn't really work anymore.
Cruel and you're foolish with your trophy wives and interchangeable spouses.
So as a general rule, if you're copying the structure of your first verse to your second verse, you should really keep that structure the same. The first verse had an A-B-A-B rhyme scheme, but the second verse uses X-A-X-A, where the first and third line don't rhyme. But because of the first verse, we expect those first and third lines to rhyme, but we don't get it, which disappoints us and feels lazy. Further, the initial "your" on the third line doesn't have the hard punch of "don't," so it sounds weaker. We've also used "cruel" for the second time now. Also, criticizing trophy wives and interchangeable spouses makes Cinderella seem as shallow as the villagers she's criticizing. Does she seriously think none of them are in loving relationships? Like, all the romance is fake? That sounds pretty judgy to me.
And I'm caring, constantly staring, solely concerned with what you were wearing.
Oh, come on, I just went over this. The first time around, the pre-chorus uses A-B-A-B. Now it's using A-A-X-A. You can do this, don't get me wrong, you just need to have a good reason for it, and it better sound natural. I'll actually say the second pre-chorus sounds better than the first one, but that just begs the question as to why the first pre-chorus didn't use the more suitable rhyme scheme. A-A-X-A works better with faster double rhymes in general because it keeps the rhythm flowing. Like da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
Gossip and shopping, I'm the opposite of everything you are.
Wow, it did exactly what I was saying it should do the first time. Yes, shopping and opposite aren't perfect rhymes, but the similar sounds land on the rhyme parts of the rhythm, so it does work sonically, like, to our ears.
I'm a style, all my own. I will not change it for you.
Guys, really, she's not like other girls.
Wild and free, Cinderella, you can laugh, you can grow.
Wait, this is exactly what I said the first chorus should do. The rhyme scheme is literally A, B, C, A, B, C, C. It's what I said earlier.
I won't ignore you. I think for you.
See how much nicer that sounds? Unfortunately, the last line, which is meant to be the punchline or the kicker for the whole chorus, is not very strong. I think "poor you" has a similar problem to "that's all me" in that we naturally put the emphasis on you in the phrase "poor you."
A witch, well, choose one. Every fairy tale for sure can use one.
The bridge really feels too short. I would have expected at least another couplet before the big hold, and maybe some more syllables on the line that has the hold. That way you keep the momentum building to the big moment.
Sorry, I'm so rude. Sorry, you're so lame. I won't play your game.
Like da-da-da-da-da, 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 da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. After this, there's a key change, naturally.
Call me Bad Cinderella. I take pride when you
The last chorus literally has the line, "I am proud that I'm not like you," and that's rhymed with "and a more than sky-high IQ." You can't make this up.
and a more than sky-high IQ.
The chorus repeats with similar lyrics to the first one and then ends on a big note.
I have upset you.
This is not satire. This is not a character that gets shamed for acting like this, really. I think the thing people forget about Disney's Cinderella is that the prince doesn't rescue her. Cinderella is rewarded for being a good person in the face of a terrible situation. The prince is kind of like her prize. The moral of the story isn't to wait around to be rescued, it's to be kind and compassionate. There's nothing wrong with wanting love, affection, and companionship, whether it's platonic or romantic. We're all human beings, we naturally want these things. It's why I can't stand this wave of stories with morals about being overly independent. Yes, a level of independence is a good thing, but we all need to rely on others sometimes. It's what makes us human. We're a communal and social species. The moral of Bad Cinderella should have been that acting like an antisocial and arrogant snob makes you lonely and miserable, just like this song makes me feel miserable. I hope you enjoyed watching me once again rip lyrics apart. I've missed doing this. If you have other lyrics you want me to review, put them in the comments. I'll check them out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.